Okay, so I did hit a card that can technically kill Vorinclex. For those of you who've never read this card before, this is an Assassin Lord. I think it's the only Assassin Lord ever printed. Exile an assassin from a graveyard, destroy target creature. Look at it, it's beautiful. Are there any assassins in graveyards? No, of course there aren't. It's Momir. The only cards in graveyards are lands. So I've hit a 2-2. These guys have tramples, there's no point in jumping them. He's bound to hit emrakul this time, surely. I mean, he's probably going over there fuming over how little he's hit emrakul this game. I've no sympathy at all for his cause. To be fair, even if he hits emrakul now, it's not the end of the world, because next turn I get the opportunity for an 8, and I have to hit the Leviathan. And then if I hit the Leviathan, I'm actually ahead, because I've got more lands than him. Admittedly, I can only make 9s, but... and I'll have a 5-5 to his 8-drop, but... yep, emrakul the Aeon's Torn. Not a card you often see in play, folks. If you've never read this guy. It can't be countered. When you cast it against turn after this one, he's not going to get to do that because he didn't cast it. Protected from coloured spells, got 9 to 6, and flying. I love the flying. That's weird. Anyway, I'm going to kill Vorinclex here, because he's given me the opportunity to. Possibly because the other 3 9/9s kill me. But if I kill Vorinclex, because my out here is the Leviathan, I've got no other out. So, if I kill Vorinclex, then my lands don't not untap the turn after I hit Leviathan, assuming I hit Leviathan next turn. Unless do I now take 27 off the other guys? It's possible I'm now dead, because I didn't bother to count. Yeah, I think 9 times 3 is in fact 27 and I'm dead. I should have jumped with my 7-7. Given myself an out. That's annoying, because I just didn't bother to count. I assumed I was at enough to take it. And I'm not. It's actually 28. 9 times 3. 9. 18. Vorinclex tramples for 1. Yeah. Those guys do have trample, but it would have prevented just enough of it if I'd blocked with the 7-7. Don't think it's making a ton of difference, but I did in fact have an out there. That's the thing about Momir, is you do always have an out, because the Leviathan is always there. And it does happen that you need the Leviathan and then you just suddenly get the Leviathan. No point in sideboarding in this format. I didn't even bother to build a sideboard. I'm just going to flow smoothly from one to the other because we're only 2 minutes into this next recording. I like to play first, not everyone likes to play first. I've heard differing opinions about it. Yeah, you go first, you start on 3s, and you're always responding, you're never starting, but you're always 1 mana cost ahead. So, it's swings and roundabouts, you know. Waiting for our opponent to decide that he's not going to mulligan. Hopefully he'll decide that he's not going to mulligan. I did see one guy once make a 0. It's not actually worth making 0s. Because while there is a chance that you hit Dryad Arbor, which is insane, there's a much greater chance that you'll hit Kobolds of Caregap, or Ornithopter, or another one of the Kobolds of Caregap type cards. Okay, he's got a 1/1 Island Walk, so there's no point in us ever playing islands, essentially. I'm happy to take 1 off his 1/1. More than happy. I mean, imagine if you had a card in hand at the start of the game which said, deal 1 damage to target player, gain 3 or 4 life, which is what that's going to chump later. Ooh, now that is genuinely good. 2/1 flying Death Touch is something to worry about. That's going to trade for one of my flyers, possibly for one of the big flyers that I get really late in the game. So that is the 2-drop's annoying. You should make 2-drops on the draw, which he is now, so he's right to do that. Probably should have discarded the island, but there's still time to discard the island, so I'm not overly worried. Another thing about Momir, of the many things that I've said so far, is that all the information in it is constantly public, so it really teaches you about onboard tricks, because there's no offboard tricks. Like, I know that his hand right now is 5 basic lands, and he knows that my hand right now is 5 basic lands. There's nothing special about that. Augury Adept, by the way, those of you who don't know, it's a bear. When it hits them, I get to draw a card. Usually I'd gain some life, but I don't get to gain life here, because the card won't have any converted mana cost. Here I might hit Mana War or something, and if I do, I'm probably a Mana War type card, by which I mean obviously. And if I do, I'm likely to bounce 1/1. And while that's not really worthwhile, it means I can draw a card. And drawing cards is actually good in this format. It means it gets you another land, it gets you ahead on the getting to the 10s, to the 15s, etc. Nope, 2-4. I'm not going to be casting any green and white spells, so it's just a 2-4. Strictly worse. Strictly worse. Bear. Not bear. Spider. So I'm thinking, I attack, he blocks. Fine. So we gained 2 life, had me discard a card, but he discarded himself a card. But he didn't really have me discard a card, he just failed to have me draw a card, which is not the same thing at all. Not even a little bit. Now he's got a 3-3 to block with, so that's annoying. His ability only once each turn. He didn't bother to attack with his 2-1 flyer. That's interesting. Why no attacks, opponent? Because he could have got through 2 damage there. Maybe he thinks my guy actually is a giant spider. It's not. It's way worse. It's safe hold elite. I remember playing with this guy back in Shadowmoor Block. I thought it was insanely good. I was new to the game back then. Don't you judge me. But the card is not. Well, even in the limited of that format, where there were like green and white spells, it's not up to much. What have I got? 3-2 Phyrexian thing. When it enters the battlefield, turn type creature card. Yep, it's just 3. Because there's no creatures in any graveyards. Ever. See, long before Delver was a standard playable deck, there was of course Phyrexian Delver. Which is just like normal Delver, but it played Infect. That's stupid. 4-4 and does stuff with auras. Yep. And he's finally remembered that he has a flyer and he can attack with it. So that's bad news. I was hoping he'd never remember that as long as the game went on. 6 drops, 6 drops, 6 drops, 6 drops. It's the best 6 drops. Probably the 6-5 Flying Dragon with haste. That's usually the best 6 drop, I'll be honest. Or Primeval Titan actually is insane. But I'd take pretty much any of the Titans I would accept here. I do not need more forests, I've got loads of them. Worth holding on to swamps. Having 2 swamps in play is useful if you ever get a shade, which there are plenty of. Okay, I'll take a 5-4 trample. Green creatures I control have trample. That works. My green creatures now have got trample. Deal with it. I've got a 2-4 with trample. What are you going to do? Yeah, I thought so. You're going to sit there, wait for your turn, and then make a 6 drop. I know what you're up to. So generally this is how the majority of Momir games go. Woohoo! Champion's terrible in this format because you can't champion anything. Because you very rarely have the appropriate sort of creature. And when you champion something, it's dead forever. That guy, by the way, is a merfolk that you can take extra turns if you can carry on sacrificing merfolk for. And it leads to plenty of infinite combos during Lore in Block, which I enjoyed back in the day. Going infinite in Lore in Block. Those were the times, eh? Am I going to make a 7 here? See, it fades at the end of the match. And that's probably no fun for you guys to watch. I mean, actually, for you guys, you could probably just, I hit fade, you'll laugh at me. You know, that's kind of where we're at now. And at 7, I think, it's either at 7 or 8 that there's the Hover Guard, which is just the most broken creature in this format. It's like a 5-4 flyer. When it comes into play, return 2 creatures to their owner's hands. Just a 5-4 flyer that kills their 2 best guys. That'd be nuts. Bold War Intimidator, I'll take that. Cowards can't block warriors. You hear that? See this guy? He's a giant warrior. Any of your creatures cowards? Didn't think so. I'm still going to attack with this guy, because if he trades it with his 4-4, I'm fine with that. Considering next turn I can stop his dudes blocking any of my warriors. I've got 2 warriors. He's only got 2 dudes, but he's going to have a 3rd dude. I can stop 3 dudes blocking and then make a 5. Enabling me to get through for 6 every turn. Plus I've got the Boulder Intimidator enabling me to get through for 12 every turn, which kills him in 2 turns. I'm not attacking him. I've got a plan. Not a very good plan, as I'd be the first to admit. At least it keeps me busy. It keeps me on the move. Yeah. So next turn, if he doesn't leave his Strix back, I can get through for a ton of damage, just because I have some incidental warriors going on. Attack with the Strix, 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 attack with the Strix. Yes! Come on! Get in those 2 damage. Kill me! Ah, beautiful. Completely and utterly beautiful. So I'm going to play my mountain here. Activate Bulbo Intimidator's ability. He's a coward. He's a coward. If I'd drawn a mountain here, I wouldn't make a 5-drop. But because I have